got back to getting closure. I'm James. So do you trust me, Cheryl, do you reckon?
Not real keen on trusts.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about trusts. So it's not trust as in if Cheryl loans me $10, will she ever get it back? And I'd probably suggest she shouldn't. But anyway, the point is that this is more about sometimes when you pay a bill or, especially in building industries, you might have, the Fred Bloggs Proprietary Limited as trustee of the Fred Bloggs Family Trust. So we talked the other day about sole traders, trading in my own name. Next one was, okay, I'll get a company. I'll be James's Painting Proprietary Limited. But then if I then say I have Cheryl Stainsby Proprietary Limited as trustee of the Stainsby Family Trust, what am I seeing there, Cheryl? And is there any particular advantage? And of course, we're not straying into financial advice because we don't do that. But what is that all even about, Cheryl, in your world?
Trusts are probably one of the most misunderstood structures out there in the universe. They are used for a variety of reasons. They're used for tax effectiveness, they can be used for asset protection, they can be used after somebody's passed away, as a testamentary trust to distribute income to people. There's a number of reasons that trusts can be used, and trading, a lot of people use them to trade their business in. My advice to anybody would be not to look at operating in a trust unless you get advice from your accountant to do so. Some of the tax benefits that trusts used to have aren't as effective these days. So my advice is only if your accountant advises you to trade in a trust, would you do so? And you'd be wanting to say to them, what are the benefits to me of trading in a trust? I see a lot of clients who say to me, oh, but my accountant told me that I was totally protected trading in a trust. And that's often simply not the case.
Yeah, okay. So as a structure of protection, maybe not.
Look, once again, a trust is only good protection if you don't sign personal guarantees, if you pay your tax, if you do everything correctly. But as we talked about before, James, some trustees have a company as the trustee, and other trusts have the person as the trustee. And if you're operating in a trust that you are the trustee of, then pretty much you're operating as a sole trader.
Yeah, okay, wow, okay. And then so you're sort of almost going all the way back to where you were.
That's right.
Yeah, wow.
So trusts are very misunderstood, and I think if you're even thinking about operating as a trust, you need to get really good advice from your accountant, from your lawyer, from your financial advisor as to whether or not a trust structure is beneficial for you.
Yeah, because when things go wrong, one of the members of the Insolve panel had said to me a few years ago that tax structures are sometimes the complete opposite of what you want for asset protection structures, and they're two different jobs. So one can do one job really well and not the other. So it's really about quite savvy advice about what you're trying to achieve. And so we talked a bit last week about, okay, business isn't easy. If you're going to go into small business, you need to protect yourself, but you also need to say, do I really have a business? If I don't have a business that can afford to pay the compliance costs of being run properly to make sure you pay your taxes and pay your staff and do all your lodgements and all that sort of stuff, and perhaps have a bookkeeper, then maybe you don't really have a business. But on the other side of the coin, you're saying if an accountant says you must have this structure, you are right to say, well, what are the risks and disadvantages, or risks? What are the benefits and risks of this particular extra thing that you're saying you want me to do? What's it doing for me, and how does it protect me if I get sick? Or
absolutely. One of the most disheartening things that I see is that a client will come to see us and they'll have this fabulous structure that's been set up by their accountant, but they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And they don't understand how maybe 2 or 3 entities work together, relate to each other. And if you don't understand how your structure operates, how can you operate effectively in it?
That's great. Yeah, okay, good point. Thanks, Cheryl. A reminder that these podcasts are general in nature and do not constitute advice, and they don't take into account your personal circumstances. So if you think, though, that some of the issues raised might apply to you, you should seek qualified financial, legal or counselling advice.